Well, they went mad for a bit of kiss, and Wes Newton, mixture, I think it's fair to say, of cheers and boos for the record-breaking Phil Taylor. Let's see who gets the biggest cheer once the match commences. As you can see in the box, Alan Moore and a little, and Stuart Pike.
Thank you, Matt. Terrific atmosphere. Full house at the Royal Highland Centre here in Edinburgh. We've seen James Wade. We've got Michael van Gerwen, Barneveld, Anderson and Hamilton to come. But Phil Taylor here, world number 2, looking, as far as he's concerned, to right a couple of wrongs after losing in his last 2 big TV events. Wes Newton hanging on to a place in the top 16 with much to prove, but with an awful record against Phil Taylor. It would take something extra special, methinks, for Wes to upset the apple cart tonight.
Well, as I said earlier on in the day, these are the kind of moments that can change his career, because it's on a downward spiral. Playing a legend Phil Taylor as he is, a tough call. These are the kind of wins, Stuart, that can launch you back.
Listen to the crowd. Taylor was booed in Ireland. He admitted that it really affected him at the World Grand Prix, and he was well beaten by James Wade in the quarter-finals.
95.
He was cheered in Germany, but was beaten by a brilliant Stephen Bunting. And Wes Newton here with much to prove. But you can hear who the crowd's favourite are. Gary Anderson on later. Back to business for Taylor though.
Well, we did say that. Obviously Saturday night, big crowd in here. We've all tasted the local amber nectar. It's going to get pretty rowdy here by the time Gary Anderson gets on. And there's Phil with Dave Allen's shoes on.
Yeah, Dave Allen, in case you don't know, the PDC media manager. Jack of all trades, having to lend Phil Taylor his shoes. But the darts are doing the trick for Taylor in this opening leg. It hasn't taken long.
With Dave's on 10%.
100. Phil Uruguay 91.
Treble 17. Treble 14 to the left to leave double 16. Just big 20 to tidy up. Newton way back on 265. Yet to get himself going. But when you look at Wes Newton's year, the biggest thing for me has been the Open, the Pro Tour, and getting beat so often in the first round, and that's what launched him into world number 5 a few years ago.
Well, Phil Taylor, comfortable hold. Yeah, Wes Newton, you remember he had that fantastic year where he went from outside the top 32 in the world to a place inside the top 8 in the world. He's now hanging on. He's 15th at the moment, and he's in danger of dropping out of the world's top 16 for the first time in nearly 4 years.
137.
Taylor, one of the hardest players in the world to stop when he's in full flight, as we all know. So Wes hopefully can just relax a little bit more and think about this game and not all the pressure that's on him to try and stay in the top 16.
He will feel under pressure, Alan. You know, if Ian White had beaten Dave Chisnall last weekend in the second round in Germany, Newton would already be out of the top 16 in the world. So he's teetering, isn't he? And that top 16 brings you so much and so many guarantees. It's so important. So he's bound to be feeling the heat.
I think more importantly, he knows his game's not there at the moment, so it's kind of irrelevant where he is in the rankings. His game isn't there.
Struggling, isn't he?
135.
At the moment, Taylor too good. Newton needs something here. Always says he needs to start well. Yeah, but it's one of those questions in darts at the moment. What has happened to Wes Newton? You know, as you say, he's struggled on the Pro Tour, and he's gone to Pro Tour weekends, played 2 games, lost them both, and been sent packing.
Yeah, he's got to dig deep as Wes. Big 11.
120.
To leave tops. Newton on Shanghai. Could do this one just to light the candle. for the rest of this match. Tops for Newton. Oh, great dash, Wes. That's what we want to see. Not just the finishing, but the back of the net, 1-0 to the crowd.
Well, that's fantastic, isn't it? Just what he needed. Taylor will respond. Newton with new flights. He's been changing his darts, going to and from. Got silver darts instead of gold tungsten. He's now got new flights. They call them Sigma flights, and trying them out for the first time to see if they make any difference.
Well, it's up to him if he thinks it's going to work. The most important thing is not to tinker too much, but if it's something that will give you a little bit of a spark, why not?
There's a spark from the power. His second. But you never had a chance to tinker with your darts because you're always losing them, weren't you? Or forgetting them.
Yeah, one of many people to turn up at the World Championships with 2 darts. Didn't quite work.
140.
I thought I was handicapped.
But they were the days you played left-handed. 125 average, Phil Taylor.
140.
Possible 11 darter.
13 in the first leg. Left tops in the second, but never got a throw because Newton took 120 out. So to the 12. Not to be.
Well, 12 months ago, Taylor was just too good. He was too good over the course of this tournament. He dropped, would you believe, only 7 legs
100.
in the Masters last year, in winning it, beating Lewis in the final.
Just never looked like missing, did he? Hitting the double there. Nice little 13. So he's had 2 13 darters and left the double after 12 and not got a throw. Lucky there from Newton, just deflected to the left. Important that he keeps hold of throw, just stays with Taylor, who's throwing well when he throws first. So important for Wesley.
137.
Just dig in. He's got a lot of experience now for one who's not been at the top of his game for that long.
Well, here's a question for you. Back-to-back appearances in the Premier League.
45.
Carries a lot of prestige, financial rewards. Newton was eliminated twice after 10 weeks. Has that affected him?
It may well have done.
140.
No true answer to that. Only Wesley would know if it's not worked in his favour. But he's putting him up there on the biggest pedestal than he was on before he got in the Premier League. But you've got to move on. You can't relax in this game because of the ranking lists. The Pro Tour is a 12-month one. The world ranking's over 2 years. So if you don't do it consistently over the period, that's when you will drop in the rankings.
Well, Taylor here looking at another possible 11 darter. Great dart to leave double 8.
71.
He will return.
Amelia and Wesley's only really significant performances have been the World Grand Prix, Baxter in the first round, Nicholson in the second, and should have lost both.
Yeah. 140. Go 16.
Double 8 for the first break of throw.
Gives on the fourth leg.
Well, in control at the moment, Taylor. Last time they met, by the way, was in the World Match Play quarter-finals. Newton had a good run at Blackpool, but has dipped since then. Taylor won that 16-6. Head-to-head, 30 wins for Taylor, 2 for Newton.
140.
And those 2 wins for Wes were both at Championship League darts at Crondon Park, the behind closed doors internet tournament.
140.
So the form book would suggest only 1 winner.
I didn't see the odds before the start of the match. I'm sure, like you say, Stuart, they would have been well in favour of Phil. But again, I keep reiterating, when your game isn't as good as it was, you need a game like this to give you the spark. And there's a spark from Wesley. His first maximum. He's taken 120 out. He's fighting away, and that's what we want to see. We want to see him fighting.
I agree. He has the game. Well, he's playing well, Wes Newton. He can beat everybody, and has done. That's why he got up to number 5 in the world at his peak.
Well, up to the last 8-12 months, he was probably one of the top players on the Pro Tour. You didn't want him in the draw. He really was. Double 19, will lead double 12.
139.
62 when he comes back, Newton. Now, would it be treble 20 or the ball? Now it needs a treble. Hits it. Double 6. Unlucky, would have gone in the break 3-2.
62.
Taylor, 62 to go in at the first break, leading 4-1. Would be ominous for Newton.
He's got to get one dart. Just one dart at tops.
42.
What a chance for Newton now.
Measuring glass 12.
Double 1. That was a poor dart. That wasn't.
Well,
That's one way of checking out 12. Single 10, double 1. But it doesn't matter. Newton breaks back. He's in this game. Crucially, had to win that leg. And does. A right smile, but he'll be mighty relieved. Taylor leads, but only 3-2. Taylor's throw, that isn't in the script, but single 10, double 1 will do, and Newton gets it back to 3-2.
Well, it doesn't matter where it goes in, as long as it goes in. The thing he did was he kept his cool and went straight for it instead of standing back.
And then he admitted, of course, that he always goes that way.
Is there another way?
45.
But needs a strong hold, and 45 with the darts against Taylor.
Look at the stats, 110 for Taylor, just under now.
100.
And 94 for Newton. The score, 3-2. He's only one leg behind. He's starting to get a bit of confidence. Starting to get a lot of confidence.
It's the point you make. I mean, it's a big ask for Newton, but to a certain extent, playing Taylor, not too much pressure. But if ever there was an opportunity for a player who is struggling and really struggling to get his career back on track, this is it. You beat Taylor, and then all of a sudden,
100.
it's all completely, everything changes.
On occasions, the Simwebs play really well and get beat. And when you're down there, it's difficult. Sometimes you want to fall over the line. Just get that win under your belt. Get a bit of confidence back. There's a lot of tournaments in the PDC on TV. There's a hell of a lot on the Pro Tour. Newton is starting
136.
to hit the big score, Stuart.
127.
But this would hurt. This would really hurt Wes. Newton can't look. But he'll listen. He'll listen to the crowd's reaction. Oh, I'll tell you what, if you're stood behind, you've left tops to make it a level game against Taylor, and that happens.
Well, that's what can happen. Newton put so much into that leg. He scored well, left himself the double. That's what can happen with any player who's playing
100
to a standard of averaging 112 in a match. Great finish from Taylor. It's kind of overlooked that it's actually quite a decent game, this one, Stuart.
59.
It would deflate any opponent, wouldn't it?
Well, it would do. Deflates you even more when you're struggling to get your game back in the order it should be.
58.
And you kind of feel like you don't want to keep talking about it all the time. But unfortunately, it's there for all to see. Well, that's better from Newton. 3 consecutive maximums in the last 3 legs. 100 average. He's playing okay.
He's playing very well. Hasn't done too much wrong, to be honest with you. That 127 on the ball, he'd done all he could, Newton. He'd left tops after 12. And then Taylor took out the 127 to win the leg in 12 darts.
Well, look at the first 3 legs.
92.
Taylor threw first in leg 1 and 3, 2 13-dart legs. Newton took out 120 in the second. Taylor won against the throw, and then he broke back. Maximums in the last 3 legs.
140.
Yep, he's giving it a real go. Wes Newton, good to see.
Is it there from Wes? But when you are playing a little bit better on stage, you can feel it inside. Come on, it's coming back, and you feel so confident up there. Doesn't matter who you're playing.
Well, he's hit the ball again.
125.
Well, that's disappointing. Looking at possibly bull 25 bull.
Well, especially when Triple 20 was the second
Yeah.
down.
Now relying on Taylor missing. Across the board he goes. Last dart in hand. Oh, Taylor has missed.
Well, that's a double again. And Newton's just got to dig in here, take this one, move on to the next leg. He'll be throwing first, but the first job is to hit the double in this visit. And that's what he does. Good dart from Newton. Now, Taylor's averaging 107. Newton can hold throw here. He'll be back to 4 apiece.
Well, he's got to switch, surely. Can't see too much through there.
41.
I'm not sure why he stayed up there, because the first dart blocked 3/4 of the bed. Could have been worse as far as Newton's concerned. This time he will switch.
18s maybe. He's blocked the bed with the first 2.
You've just broken Phil Taylor's throw, then you have 6 darts without a big treble. It must be immensely frustrating. He's fighting away, Wes Newton. Taylor with a third, 6 180s already in this match.
And he's done all the hard work to get it back in the matches, Wes. He's just got to keep fighting, taking his chances, get a bit more confidence. He doesn't look under pressure, does he?
100.
Fair.
This would help.
180.
180s in the last 4 legs for Wes Newton, but he's still not on a finish. Will he go for the bull? Bull for Taylor!
96.
On the wire.
Well, again, Wes is relying on Taylor missing.
$93.
Good last dart.
We require 25.
Taylor needs to tidy up. Big 9. With 2 darts in hand. Double 8 is the target. Newton hanging around on 17, but he won't be getting the opportunity. Taylor hits double 8 to maintain the 2-leg advantage. Ahead, 5 legs to 3. The last 5 legs against throw, Stuart.
Yep, last 5 legs all one against throw, correct. And here comes Taylor to try and make sure that it isn't 6 consecutive legs. Bit of kapow on the hockey. We've seen it.
135.
We nearly saw a 9-darter early, didn't we, Adrian Lewis? Grates the hockey with 7 perfect darts.
First leg as well, that was amazing. We always say our player needs a couple of legs to get in the match, and he just fires in there almost at 9.
Well, you remember his 9-darter in the World Championship final against Gary Anderson in the first set.
It wasn't bad either.
81.
2-2-1. Deficit will be reduced dramatically
140.
with the 140, 81. And this is what's happened in the last 2 or 3 times they've both played each other. It's been nip and tuck in the early, and then all of a sudden Taylor takes 4 or 5 legs on the trot. Tends to do that with a lot of players. That's why he's a champion.
Double 12 for 11 darter. No mistake this time.
Phil Taylor. 10 leg is West to throw first.
Must win leg
Game on.
for Wes Newton here. You feel if he wins it, he's still in the match. If he loses, he isn't.
Certainly a mountain to climb. But he's hitting maximums more than 140s. 5.
93.
Averaging 100. Where's Phil Taylor now 109?
There we see it. Newton ahead on the 180s, Taylor on the 140s and the ton plus scores. Newton's attempts at double have been reduced because of Taylor's knocking up. 4 more darts at the double.
Good last dart.
Yeah, single 17 would have left the finish. That's why he went down for the 17s. Taylor can't leave a finish now, but he certainly put a pretty big hole in it. The 137.
Lovely darts for double 8.
125.
Unlucky. Now he knows he's coming back to the board, but the reason he wanted to finish that there, Stuart, because his momentum's gathering.
Yeah.
He's hit some good 180s, a 120 finish. He knows he's playing well. He knows it's a hard task.
Wesley require 8.
Just want to see him fight, and fight he is.
He's on the 10th leg.
6-4. Wesley Newton has been behind in most of the match. He's hit a hatful of 180s, but he gives another break. Trailing Phil Taylor by 6 legs to 4. After the break.
.127 on the ball. There's a crushing blow from Phil Taylor. Just like a cheeky look at the replay on the screen, just to make sure, the big screen here in the Royal Highland Centre in Edinburgh. But Wes Newton battling away, the best that we've seen him play for some time. 1 break down, 6-4 down, but still scrapping.
11th leg is Phil to
That's
throw
what I wanted to
first.
see. I'm sure that's what everybody else wanted to see. Be proud of his performance so far, despite the 6-4 deficit. But still some work to do for both players. Well, Taylor's got new shoes, but
140.
they're dancing now. 6-4 ahead. Looking good for the power.
With the crowd still singing and shouting the name of Gary Anderson. The last match on tonight, the local hero against Andy Hamilton, and the winner of that will play the winner of this.
137.
I think that last game this evening might be a little bit loud, Stuart, methinks. Will be bouncing
97.
here in Edinburgh. Just doesn't look under any pressure at all,
140.
Taylor. Just doing his job. Newton battling away, which is good to see. It's the maintenance of the rest of the season. A lot of big
84.
TV events coming up.
Double 12 for another 11 darter.
60.
No pressure. That's the only weak spot in Phil Taylor's game tonight is missed doubles, 11 of them so far, but he's still averaging 109.5.
Yeah, that's with 1 in 3, isn't it?
24.
Double 12.
On the 11th leg, Phil Taylor.
Decisively hit by the power. 7-4 he leads. 3 more required to place in
55.
tomorrow's quarterfinals.
May not be enough. We shall see.
And that puts him ahead. Another one. Will put him in an excellent position. And that's not bad. From 140 to start a leg. And the opponent hasn't yet hit a big score.
81.
Two in for Taylor. The 3 180 so far.
108.
And there's the 4th. Newton's ahead on the 180s. It's Taylor ahead in the legs. And crucially in this one, to go 8-4 ahead.
We've got to switch because
95.
that leaves 170. And again, he's on a possible 11 darter here, Alan.
Well, he's certainly got his scoring shoes on. His doubles haven't been as tidy as they could be.
49. Wedge require 170.
Maybe Dave Allen's not good at hitting doubles with his shoes. Let's have a word with him later.
Disappointing leg this for Wes.
60.
15 darts, still over 100 to go. It should be academic.
Gives on the 12th leg, Phil Taylor. 13th leg, it's Phil to throw first.
8-4.
When you look at the figures and think, blimey.
They seem to be pretty regular these days.
137.
Already had a few Tumper Savages in the tournament so far.
Michael Van Gerwen will be having a look at this, I'm sure. Whatever Taylor does, he'll rock to top.
45.
Van Gerwen against Raymond van Barneveld to follow this.
Well, if that's anything like last weekend's game, Stuart, that should be an absolute
139.
magical game of adders, as they say down at the pub.
100.
Taylor's over 109, playing pretty well. Do you think he'll keep the shoes?
Gives on the 13th.
He might have to pay for him. He's making Wes Newton pay, and he's one leg away from a place in the quarterfinals. Phil Taylor just going about his business, really.
100.
Dave Allen will have him on eBay tomorrow.
If you are just joining us, Phil Taylor forgot his shoes.
99.
Forgot to pack them in his case, playing in borrowed shoes.
And that's not an official handicap. Not golf. It hasn't affected
97.
his match performance. Been from the top draw. Wes Newton has rallied all the way through. Good to see him fighting. Just not had enough steam in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
140.
He's run up against a Phil Taylor very hot, but even in defeat, Newton must take some encouraging signs from tonight's performance.
58.
Well, I think that's the point, Stuart. Exactly. That's what he's got to do. Hasn't just hit the big scores he was doing in the middle part of the match, because he was well and truly
140.
in the match until we got to this third and final phase.
58.
Oh, we went for double 18 there. to leave 170.
He did. Well, can he win it with another ton plus finish?
Well, looked at the score, saw Newton back on 188. Could have chosen to finish it on the bullseye. Decided to play the percentages. Returns to the board for double 16 for place in the quarterfinals.
Game shot and the match.
Average of 110, and Phil Taylor races to 10 legs. And the defending Masters champion is off and running. Impressive performance. Taylor beats Wes Newton 10-4 on the big stage here in Edinburgh. Coming up next, it's Michael van Gerwen against Raymond van Barneveld.